Francity helps corporate executives and entrepreneurs build generational wealth, diversify their portfolios, or make a smart career pivot through honest, no-pressure franchise consulting. With 20-plus years of real-world experience as franchise owners, operators, and franchisors, the Francity team knows what works and what doesn't. They don't sell franchises, they guide people to the right fit or steer them away if it's not. Learn more at Francity.com. That's FRANOCITY.com.
Next, on this episode of The Nice Guys on Business.
The cool thing is when we start slow, we build up this foundation, and it takes time. It does not happen overnight. I always say that right off the rip. This is not a thing that will lead you to prosperity tomorrow, but it will over time. As long as we have this foundation, and then we can build up. And then when you get to, if you have a great foundation, great website, great organic things, and then you add on the paid layers, that's when you're putting jet fuel on the simmering fire that you've already got. So there's no reason to just throw money at the problem and expect it to get better. You need to throw the proper amount of money at building your foundation and then throw the proper amount of money at blowing it up when you're ready.
The circuits that cannot be cut are cut automatically in response to a terrorist incident. You asked for miracles, Theo. I gave you the Nice Guys on Business. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by Turnkey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
All right, Nice Guy community. What if building a seven-figure business didn't require luck or genius or even a trust fund, but instead, geez, I would love just to have it. Have you ever thought about just sitting back on like mom and dad's checkbook and just doing your thing, Brien? Has that even entered into your world of possibility?
No, it's no way. No, because I was told multiple times, there's not going to be a checkbook for you, buddy. Just keep moving.
All right. So Nice Guy community. So you see that Brien is just like me, a normal guy who doesn't have a trust fund, but instead we're just coming up with the right framework of hustle and strategy in there. Well, Brien runs a company called Ricochet. It's a digital ad agency that's everything clients wish other agencies were: organized, responsive, transparent, and actually effective. Now, if that wasn't enough, he's here to blow up the myths around business success also. He's a partner at Millionaire University, where they're teaching people how to see opportunity, build income machines, and create a life they love without fluff, no shortcuts, just real stuff no one ever taught you in school. Brien, I'm excited to have you. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Doug, I'm thrilled to be here, man. I've been looking forward to this for the last 2 months. I finally made it. I made it to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. I'm here. I'm ready to rock, man.
Well, you are too kind. I felt the same way when I got onto your podcast. I know there's multiple hosts that host the. Is it called? I forget. Millionaire University.
University.
Yeah, it's pretty brand on right there. So you got it. And I felt the same thing. And, you know, what it comes down to for me oftentimes is just having, I share with my community and my clients all the time, get to know your mom, your market, your offer, and your message. If you have a solid market and you understand what your offers are and you can speak intelligently about them and you have good messaging and your brand on, you're going to be successful. Even slow and steady wins the race. Now, we talked a little bit about some of your most recent challenges, the challenges of moving across the river with 4 kids, a wife, and just dealing with that. What are some of the stresses that you've had to deal with in building not only your business, but your family as well to that degree? You've really scaled your business and your family too.
Yeah. Oh man, how much time do we have? It's funny. My business partner, he says, "Man, you are built for the chaos." And just the last few months, we have truly entered the chaos. That I've got 4 kids, all under the age of 7. I've got my business partner at Millionaire University. I'm involved in a couple others on a small level. There is a lot that is going on in life. Like, we just moved into our quote unquote dream home. My business and my wife's hard work as a full-time dietitian at the VA has allowed us to finally make this move. We crossed the river. We got more square footage. We have room for all our crap. You and I were talking about that. The stressful process of moving. But it's also, while I basically took a week off of work, we added 3 new clients and 3 new website builds. So the power of being an entrepreneur and controlling my income has made just an outsized change in my life. But and just literally yesterday, my wife's car gave out, so I had to go. We bought a new car, right? So I'm not gonna make it sound like it was bad because I got to buy the F-150 that my 5-year-old self was dreaming of the last 30 years.
Nice.
But dude, the it's just been insane. So the stress it's been crazy, but built for the chaos. It's one of those where for 10 minutes I'll be feeling like, oh, I'm back in scarcity mindset. Like we got to keep this going. Like what if hell pulls over and everything crashes and burns? Like, what are we going to do?
Right.
But then 10 minutes later, it's back to, all right, we live in abundance. We have that mindset of we are controlling this. We are doing everything we possibly can to continue getting the great blessings that we already have and to build upon them. But yeah, man, the stress has turned into a fuel for me as opposed to a crippling agent, if you will.
And you mentioned a whole bunch of things. First of all, 67 Ford F-250 pickup truck right behind me. That's sitting on my driveway. So I love that.
Oh, nice.
Definitely. I don't know that I would go for the new ones, not because I don't love new cars. I do. But the price of those cars, those trucks are ridiculous. I pick up a nice Ford F-250, again, 67, get it rented out for movie shoots, and it pays for itself. But isn't that like the reality of the entrepreneur's dream? Everything that you are passionate about, whether it's my old Mustang that's sitting in the garage because I don't do anything other than baby that thing. The truck is like Mr. Tough Guy. He can sit in the rain or whatever else outside. Isn't that like the entrepreneur's lifestyle is how do I take everything that I'm passionate about and how can I turn that into a business? And I know that I feel like I every once in a while, very similar to you, I'm like, hey, business is going great. And then the next day it's like, it's just my mindset changed. It's like, oh shit, everything's going to shit right now. Am I losing all my clients or like what's going on? I pick up another client. I'm like, oh, this is great. Is that, you've got to be wired for that though, because somebody that's not ready for that and ready for, and loves I'm getting $1,500 a week from a paycheck from a W-2, employer. That to me, there's no excitement in it. As much as I hate the downside of the entrepreneurial lifestyle, I love the upside, and that's my drug. You feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've always positioned it as the life I live is very risky. However, to me, a bigger risk would be working a W-2 job at a fixed income with the possibility of getting axed at any time. Right. That would scare me even more because at that point, who knows whether or not I'm going to be able to get another job. I would like to think I could, but to me, that's riskier than being able to pull the levers that will lead to more leads or to more closing or to new business, right? Things that I can control and know that I'm doing it the way I want to do and I'm not doing it to line somebody else's pockets. That makes all the difference in the world. So for the crazy risk and the things like I've got my buddies from high school like, man, you're insane. Like, how do you live that way? How do you do that? And I'm like, it's fantastic. It allows me to live the way that I want to live, not the way that I think I need to live. So yeah, man, just living in the crazy, in the chaos, embracing the suck when it happens, but then doing everything you can to make the best of it. That's the type of control I like having in my life.
I used to apply myself to this school of nothing happens until you sell something because I'm a sales guy. I mean, that's tried and true. I have no conflict with money. I have no fear of money. I have no problem talking about it with people, clients that are, that want to buy my services. Like here's how much it is. Oh, I need to spend a little less. Okay, let's figure out how to make it work for you. I don't want to just be a dollars and cents guy. So I have no challenge talking about money. So my philosophy always used to be nothing happens until somebody sells something. But the reality of it is nothing happens until you market something. Because the sale doesn't happen until the phone rings, and getting the phone to ring is my biggest challenge as a business owner. And it has been I've been an entrepreneur for 40 plus years. I'm 60 years old. I was an entrepreneur in college. I was a DJ. I turned that into a 37-year career as a DJ. I was a $7,500 DJ in a $700 market. So I feel like high-end social scene. And I never was afraid not only just to talk about money, but word of mouth and marketing. I know I'm covering a whole bunch of shit here, but I want to emphasize the importance of whether you're marketing or getting referrals or you're doing something with your brand, nothing can happen. And that's really the area where you focus a lot with your agency, right? I mean, you do all of that stuff. How does somebody know that they have something that is worth marketing? And then how do you actually begin that process?
If you have a business, if you're making a couple dollars, you have something worth marketing, right? Even if you're on a $50 retainer with one client, you have something that is probably worth investing in because you have proven the concept that somebody paid you for it. Now, that doesn't mean that that could be your $500,000 or $1 million business. There can be a lot of iterations. My business itself has had a lot of iterations over the last 7.5 years. However, if you neglect the marketing, you will not grow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, marketing has a lot of different facets to it, right? There's 7 million ways to Sunday that you can market a business.
Right.
And especially when you are starting out, it is on you as a solopreneur to market yourself. And that can look very different from when you're marketing yourself 7 years later. So at the very beginning, it's pounding the pavement. Like I'll use a service business as an example, because those are the majority of the businesses we service. You're pounding the pavement. You're knocking on doors, door hangers, you're networking, you're joining a chamber of commerce. You're literally just telling people who you are, where you are, and what you do. And that is the ground level. And I will die on that hill. Is you've got to start opening your mouth and showing your face and telling people who you are, where you are, and what you do. Now, that expands into beginning to do that online, beginning to do that in communities, online communities, whether in person or online, beginning to do that eventually through your business profiles, through your email, through your content, if you become a content creator to promote your business, and then all the way into the paid advertising. So there's 1,000,001 different ways to do it. And I find that that is one of the most confusing things to business owners who are experts in their line of work, whether they're a carpenter or a dog trainer or a gym owner. They're not experts in the marketing. So it gets very, very confusing right off the rip into what direction should I even go?
So I've had some really challenging experiences with marketing companies who promise the world and don't deliver jack shit. And we in the beginning, we were all about doing exactly what you said. Just deliver a great service, get our name out, networking, join some online groups, go to some conferences, more networking. Then we're like, hey, if this is working for us and we're getting referrals from clients, maybe we should think about actually making a budget for marketing. So, first year we did that was probably 5 or 6 years into owning this business, our production business. And we said, all right, well, we figure we're going to spend about $3,000 or $4,000 a month. We're going to probably do that for a handful of months before we see results. And we're going to do that for, let's call it a $15,000 or $20,000 budget. All right. So we did that for a few years with a few different companies because no one could deliver. Talk to the people that are like me in my community that have been not burned, but didn't see the results that they were hoping to get, whether it's through email, ad spend, social media, all of the things that we're supposed to do. And we just don't know, how the hell do we find something that actually works, and how do we trust somebody? So talk to that community member of mine for a moment.
It's all about credibility. And when I say credibility, it's not just about the fact that you need to be great at what you do. You need to provide excellent customer service, excellent customer experience, and you have to have a well-built business. That doesn't mean you can't have bumps and bruises in your business that can be smoothed out, but you have to be credible. And then that credibility needs to transfer to the digital realm, because especially for every business, you need to have some sort of online presence. Now, a lot of people thinking about that on a surface or shallow level will say, oh, we got to have our Facebook. We got to have our ads. We got to have our website. It's got to be good. We got to have our profile. It's got to be good. But at the end of the day, what you need to have is credibility built up with the search engines, with the platforms, and with your business in general. So what that looks like is having foundational things like your website. Is it built correctly? Is it built the way that Google, I'll say search engines, but the way Google wants it built? Yeah. And most people don't even know this. Google has their public documentation for SEO, search engine optimization, which is essentially a documentation on how you should build your website so that Google will like it. Because at the end of the day, if Google doesn't like your website, if they don't think it's going to provide an excellent user experience, they are not going to show the majority of traffic to you. They're hardly going to show any of the traffic to you, right?
Right.
Or lead them to you.
Right.
So when you're building things like your domain authority, when you're building out your Google business profile, I will start with those two because they're the two most basic for most businesses. Now, can be different for an e-com business versus a service-based business versus a production company. But using these as the basis, now you are hinting to Google that you are a legitimate business. You are who you say you are. You are where you say you are, and you do what you say you do. Who you are, where you are, and what you do needs to be at the forefront. And this extends all the way into podcasting. If you're on a podcast, if you make opportunities of guesting on podcasts, if you host a podcast, if you are on a YouTube channel, if you are on Reddit, if you're anywhere across the web where you're mentioned, you need to bring that credibility. And Google and the search engines pick up on that. And if you're lacking in any of these areas, it's another checkbox that doesn't get checked. So the biggest difference for companies that do what we do, and that no one does the way we do it or what we do, and I know everyone says that, but the credibility is in the way that your things are built and that the way that the search engines see you, because that is the number one way outside of referrals that somebody is going to find you.
I think so. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say it all comes back to credibility.
I got it. And so I think about the missteps that we've had with the marketing platform, the marketing companies that we've had, and whether it's the platform that they're on, or we went with a company that was mainly, let's say in one case, we went with a company that usually dealt with service-based businesses, and they said, well, we're going to do the same thing for you. And I thought, well, we're not regional and we're not local. We're kind of a national or international brand. Not that we're a big company, but we're a national brand. We can go anywhere. And they said, no, we'll be able to do that for you. It literally got 0 results for us. And then the people that we were put in front of, it was just pardon my expression, it was a waste of my fucking time. So now I'm spending time with these calls that they have booked for me with people that aren't qualified, that are just, tire kickers. And I'm like, that was bad. So I've spent money to waste my time. So is it possible, and I'm going to ask you to be devil's advocate for your own business for a moment, is it possible slow and steady wins the race, and I can build a brand without having a ceiling that I don't have to do any outside marketing to get, all through reputation and all through referrals? Is that possible?
Sure, it's possible. There's plenty of businesses that are out there doing it right now where they build everything, quote unquote, organically, where you don't advertise, you don't pay for advertising. Everything is through podcasting or podcast guesting, through organic social, through influencers, through, whether it's kickbacks or, people, influencer kickbacks, things like that. There are plenty of businesses. I literally just hosted a podcast this morning where the guy has literally never invested in digital advertising. He's got a $6 million business.
Wow.
All through their organic social media, kind of doing cool publicity stunts, if you will. And they've grown organically 15 to 20% for the last 20 years. And they're up to $6 million.
Not likely, though. I mean, it's not that's the anomaly, the exception rather than the rule.
Right.
And also that is definitely, again, from my own personal experience, we've been doing this for 10 years. Could we have achieved some level of success at year 3 that we've taken us 10 years to get there because we didn't do anything successful as it relates to marketing? So it's like putting you into a platform or an agency like yours, I would assume, gets you there faster and with a little less of the feet on the floor, pounding the pavement, doing that stuff. Is that fair, or do I have that wrong?
Correct. No, that's right. So I like to say that we start small and scale up. Because when we work with a new client, we have to figure out exactly where they are in their business, where they are in their journey, what their infrastructure looks like, because we can turn on our levers, right? And inbound will come. We build a new website, we manage your profile, we handle your email, we handle your paid advertising. We know the business will come, but then a lot of times it turns into an exposure program where, you guys aren't answering your phones. What's going on there? Why is there a 45-second recording before you get to a human?
Right.
Why are your salespeople not selling? You had 200 opportunities here and you sold 3 jobs. What's the deal? So we find that there's a lot of infrastructure that needs patching with a lot of these businesses. And the cool thing over the last few years is I've been able to retool my business and partner up with people who can actually help us solve these problems. So now we're turning into small business growth advisors. We're turning into partners with our clients in their business to help them grow and solve these problems. But the cool thing is when we start slow, we build up this foundation, and it takes time. It does not happen overnight. I always say that right off the rip. This is not a thing that will lead you to prosperity tomorrow, but it will over time. As long as we have this foundation, and then we can build up. And then when you get to, if you have a great foundation, great website, great organic things, and then you add on the paid layers, that's when you're putting jet fuel on the simmering fire that you've already got.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to just throw money at the problem and expect it to get better. You need to throw the proper amount of money at building your foundation, and then throw the proper amount of money at blowing it up when you're ready.
You know, it's funny as I'm thinking back to the experiences, and there were 3 or 4 of these, depending on one of these that we spent, and they never posted. You know, if they did post our check, but they never posted as a company.
Oh, be sure that check always clears.
Oh yeah. So, to think about it though, and to be fair, we really never focused it. It was all on outbound marketing. It was all on ad spend. It was all on the face of what this marketing looks like. It was not on, hey, you know, we really need to take a step back and get started by really looking at your website. And I think a full audit of that stuff is probably an essential component of getting started in on the right track. Is that how that works?
Yeah. Absolutely. We do, like when we bring on a new client, we pop the hood and we figure out exactly where they are. We understand where they are in their business. You know, we're not just here to run your Google ads. We are here to help build an ecosystem for you, to help. We are your advisor and your partner in this, because we know that you could pay us, our retainers, to do those more surface level things. But we also know it's going to expose problems in the business. And
right.
9.9 times out of 10, there will be problems that get exposed.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, hey guys, you're doing great. Those are great ads, and we're getting a ton of leads, but we're not closing enough. We gotta axe it. We gotta retool. And it's like, when we address it at the beginning, we'll be like, here's some areas that are some yellow flags for us.
Yeah.
We want to address this with you today,
right?
Because what we do in the future will expose this, and you're going to be caught with your pants at your ankles, right? So yes, that's a big part of our process, is figuring out exactly where our clients are, meeting them there, and then helping them build from there.
What I discovered with working with a number of our clients, because to a degree, I feel like I am a business strategist as opposed to a podcast production company, and we actually sell our services. The competitive advantage, oftentimes, that I share with our clients or prospective clients, is that you can buy production for far less than we are ever going to charge you, and much less if you go overseas or somewhere. But that's, you just putting content out to the world isn't what's going to happen. We've discovered so many times that we can get their phone to ring to a degree with the podcast if they're doing solo casts or bringing other people in, and we have some strategies. But if you don't know how to sell, if you can't on the other side close convert a client, a prospective client that's sitting in your guest seat or in your audience that calls your office, or God forbid, you don't even return the call. I said that's the worst. Started. You've just spent, literally $300 to have that phone ring once, and you didn't even pick up. If I ever get a complaint from somebody that says, Doug, you didn't return my call, then I can tell you for sure that they had the wrong number, because I'm either picking up on the first ring, or I am following up ad nauseum with them, because I'm like, hey, you called me. I was thinking that you were interested in podcast production. Tell me what you're looking for. So for me, it really is. I love that you said you've exposed a lot of probably friction points within organizations that they didn't even realize that they had. So what are some of those friction points? So what are some of the things we already talked about? I can get the phone to ring, but you got to answer the phone. You got to return quickly. You've got to be able to sell. What are other things that companies are falling short on?
Yeah. So number one is the speed to the lead, picking up the phone, returning calls, being as quick as you possibly can with that, and hiring that out if you need to. Mm-hmm. Second is going to be sales. So it all comes down to marketing is inbound. You're bringing in opportunities, right? You're doing a good job with that. You have the opportunities. Now it's a matter of getting on the phone and having the proper sales acumen, the proper sales process, and being able to convert that lead into an interested party and continue on down the funnel, right? That is probably the number one infrastructure problem we run into. We'll be working with let's call them a $1 million business, a small business. And they've got one guy that's on the phones, and A, he doesn't answer everything when it comes in. B, he doesn't return all the calls that come in. Chances are he's also responsible for all the leads that come in from the website and through
Right.
email. And sometimes he's a little overloaded, right? He's doing his darndest, right? He's doing his damn best that he can, but shit happens. It's going to fall through the cracks. Now it's a matter of, well, I need two of this guy. Well, now hold on a minute. This guy, let's see his closing ratio with the 10 calls that he does get to. He's closing less than 10%.
Oh,
we've got a problem,
we
right?
Then it's a problem.
Yeah. Then it turns into, okay, we need a solution for this problem. Has this guy ever sold in the past? Like, does he have proof of concept? Is this just a blip on the radar? Oh, he's been selling at less than 10% his whole career. Sorry, guy. Like, this isn't the answer for this business, because
Right.
Mr. Business Owner, Mrs. Business
Right.
Owner needs these opportunities sold. So sales is probably the next best one. The next one right near sales is customer service, customer experience. Like,
so right. So on,
oh my gosh,
point.
like it's
so on point.
like one of these days, I'm either going to buy up portfolios of small businesses so I can run them the right way, or I'm going to start my own. I don't know what yet, Doug, but
you
it's
do that.
happen.
You do that. You and I are partnering on that, because sales and customer service, those are like those are my pet peeves. If you're not returning a call, if you're don't know how to sell, and if you don't know how to service a client, man, what are you doing in business? Your gift is so easy to you. If you're a plumber, your gift is being a plumber, and that is so easy to you. Get off the fucking phone if you don't know how to sell, and put that in the hands of somebody else that does know how to sell, or follow up. Oh, well, I'm busy out at a job. Well, then you have 5 other clients that you just serviced because you were in their house and they still have a leak, and there's a problem, and you need to fix that, or you're not going to get any more calls from that client.
Yep.
So, all of those things. God.
Oh yeah. And then if you can't build into your schedule enough time to properly handle a client. So for example, I spent 2 years in the trades. I worked at a lawn care company. I was training to be a part owner of the company, started from the ground up, $9 an hour, job off Craigslist, loved it, right? I got to be face to face with clients, and the owner of the company was huge on customer experience. It was everything to make sure that that customer had a positive experience. If you're a slice eater, chip their pavers, you go knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'm so sorry, our machine chipped your paver. We're gonna pay for a new replacement on this paver," right? Honesty, integrity, and doing the right thing, but also chatting with your customers. Like, you know me, Doug, I'm a chatty Cathy. I could go all day. I used to get in trouble like, "Hey, we like you being personal with the clients, but you also have like 20 more lawns to do." So, but that goes a long way to that customer feeling valued. Or if they have a question, everybody wants to talk to an expert. And hey, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, you're the fucking expert.
Right.
Like, you need to be talking to your people, and the people that work for you, your teammates, they need to be experts in their specific field. So the sales guy, sales gal, they need to know exactly what they are selling, and they need to be the proficient expert that the person they're selling to expects them to be. And for some businesses, I understand there is a lot that goes into being a small business owner, and people problems are a lot of the thing, but it's a reflection of leadership.
Yeah.
And if your leadership isn't there, your systems aren't there, your processes aren't there, your people will struggle to provide that unabashed customer experience that your clients deserve. And that is seriously lacking in the world today.
Well, and Nice Guy community, keep in mind that what we're talking about with Brien is so far beyond the scope of what he does, but so within the world of what he needs to deal with. Because once you fix this problem, you've created a whole series of other problems. You know, that you might not think that this is a big problem. I know you do, Brien, because you've probably seen it. Nice Guy community, this is a problem that you're going to have if you haven't already experienced it. Once you have a challenge with a system, chances are good that you probably have challenges with many other systems. Getting all of that work done, doing the selling, doing the customer service, and then not invoicing your client, or then not following up to collect the money from the client, that is just as much of a challenge for people as closing a deal. I have a buddy of mine that's in home improvement, and he's great with customer service. He's very chatty with the client, but he's got an accounts receivable issue that's out the yin yang, because he doesn't invoice his client. Like, I'll get to it. I did the work. I know you'll get to it. But you realize you're hanging up your kid's college tuition because you in AR right now. So do you find that's the same? It's just one system problem creates another system problem, probably have a bunch of other problems in the system?
Oh yeah, one problem begets another, right? Like it could be, there's a client of mine that had trouble at the front of the house, right? Getting good people to be on the phone to answer during the proper hours to show up on time, right? To handle the clients properly or the prospects properly, which then led to his texts being sent in wrong directions or not enough business being booked for them to go to.
Right.
And then it turns out that now there's a lot of AR, right? So you just mentioned, the accounts receivable, invoices that don't get to the clients.
Yeah.
And it falls back on the owner. And a lot of times he started to feel like he got sucked back into his business 13 hours a day. And that's no way to live your business life, right? So we are in the process of helping him with his people problems now. After I get off this podcast, we're helping him. We wrote his technician job application form to post on Indeed, right? And we're going to handle that for him. But it's just these small things that add up into major things, because before working with this client, it's that same habit of not knowing the best practices and how to find the right people and how to pay properly and how to do these things that lead to happy, engaged, and productive employees, who then lead to happy and engaged and paying clients.
Well, you and I mean, just off the record here for just a second, you and I are going to have a conversation about partnering on something. It's going to be something related to sales training or customer service training or something like that, because that is such an area that it's such a huge sticking point for me with anybody that comes into my team. I don't care if you have the skills to be able to answer a phone properly. I can teach all of the skills. I can teach communication. I can teach things like that. I can't teach you to want to return a call quickly, though, or to want to close the deal because you're motivated either by money or by the win or something like that. But I can teach you all of the techniques and all the things that you have to do and can do in order to close a deal and service a deal properly. So you and I will have a conversation about that. Nice Guy community, think about the reason that I was attracted originally to Brien coming on the show. All of the things that he does as his deliverables were related to his agency and ad spend and exposure and marketing. Those were the words that that really pulled me in. We've talked about that almost insignificantly compared to the bigger picture. And when you attach yourself to the services that Brien can provide with his organization, Ricochet, when you attach yourself to that, it's the same kind of care that he's going to deliver to you outside of, look, I know you didn't hire me to do anything other than ad spend and marketing and help you put your website together and that. But dude, you got a problem with sales and you got a problem with customer service. And I love that we have spent, I'm hoping that you don't feel like this was wasted time or time too far outside of what
I love this.
normally talk about. But this is, to me, this is the stuff that really jazzes my day as it relates to consulting with businesses too. Because I do podcast production, but I want to teach somebody how to deliver exemplary service, how to sell like a machine, all of that stuff. And I feel like that's what you do too, as a part of running your business. And I'd love just to hear your comments with that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Customer experience has been such a thing for me, just because, and Doug, you'll love this. My wife, she probably hates going out to dinner with me and going to experiences because I'm picking apart the customer service, as if I'm like live tweeting it.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. And she's like,
can we talk about this waiter service for just a second?
Right.
You see that valet guy?
Yeah. Well, and it's like, why didn't he say it's my pleasure? And why did he point to where we're going instead of using his whole hand and turning his body to show me the right way to go?
Right.
Why I pick these things apart, because I'm like, if this were my joint, here's exactly how we handle this. And in my business, this is how we do this. Now, part of that's me and my ego, but man, like, great service is not only such a pleasant experience for us as civilians and as customers, but it's so rewarding to give that service, right? To be able to provide that type of unreasonable hospitality to where people are like, oh, wow, like, that was really nice. You went out of your way to do that. Like, that's really kind. Like, when you build a website with us, or I have new clients, I'll send them a gift card. And it's not like $20 to Amazon. Like, for example, one of our clients, we're going to be completing their website here in a few weeks. It's a pretty big build. I'm sending them a $300 gift card to the top steakhouse in their town. Like, so he and his wife can go and enjoy themselves as a thank you for building your website with us, right? Like, something where it's like, hey man, this was a huge investment. We're really glad you did this. And is that $10,000 going to pay itself over thousands, hundreds of thousands of times? Yes. But but I want to thank you for having trusted us with this.
Right.
And here's a kind of a unique way to do that. So like just these small things that add up to being one of my mentors, I said, just be a good shit human being and things will happen. And that's part of what I'm doing. So, and I used to work for the Reds back in the day. Actually, here's a quick story. I worked for the Reds up on their suite level. I was right outside the owner's box. So like my job, and I'm going to make this sound really cool, but it really wasn't outside of, I just got to meet a lot of famous people.
Okay.
But we were trained in what was known as the Reds way, right? It's kind of like the Be Our Guest system from Disney World, from Disney.
Right.
And I got to hobnob with the Big Red Machine, you know, all these celebrities that would come into town. The owners are pretty popular with a lot of different famous people, or at least local celebrities. And it was really cool to be able to provide this excellent service and get compliments from these people who they're probably used to getting, you know, the red carpet laid out for them, but they'd be like, oh, that was really nice. Like, I really appreciate that. Or, you know, like, what was it? Joe Morgan, he needed his shoes shined. Like there was a running joke in the owner's box that he needed his shoes shined. I overheard it and I ran over and I told one of the box attendants, go get his shoes. Like let's go get them shined. We sent him to the shoe shine down the block, got his shoes back, and he was like, holy crap, like we thought that was a joke. No, your shoes are shined, right? It's crazy. Well, yeah, I mean, I could go on for hours. We don't have all the time in the world, but yeah, customer experience is such a major part of business. And it is so neglected, especially at the small business level.
Just to put a dot on that, I cap that for sure. Trader Joe's versus Walmart. I know we have Walmart listeners that are in our audience. We probably have Trader Joe listeners that are in our audience as well. When I ask Trader Joe's, you know, where can I find the garlic powder? The person just doesn't say aisle 3. He literally will stand up from whatever inventory job he's doing and take me over to the aisle. I'm sure that's a part of their training, or if it's not, it's a part of their culture. At the same time, go into Walmart and say, where's the garlic powder? Like, you know, I don't really know. It's that way. You know, You feel like you're taken care of when you go into Trader Joe's, a significantly smaller organization, but not a schlump of an organization at all, as compared to billions and billions of dollars that Walmart made. They could put a little time into sharing. I want the customer experience. It's not just about cheap price gets the win. We don't care. We work on volume. It's not like that. I want to feel positive when I'm leaving that store. And I don't always feel that way. I know that they check my receipt to make sure I didn't steal anything. I know that. And that's like my final impression when I walk out of Walmart. No, I didn't steal any of your shit. I'm sorry that you have shrinkage. Maybe treat your customers better and they won't want to steal from you, you know?
Right.
I don't know.
Like take that tag off your forehead that says "fuck off."
Yes, that is perfectly right. All right, we spent all of this time. I know I didn't ask you a bunch of shit that I should have asked you. Is there anything that you want to? I know we could spend hours talking about stuff. We should actually have a podcast that we're just talking about stuff like this all day long because I would love it. But what am I not asking you that I should know that our audience could take as this is how you do something if you're going to work with Brien and Ricochet?
Yeah, if working with us, it's all about building your foundation. I typically tailor this towards a newer business owner or a smaller business owner. But if your foundation isn't built on rock solid concrete slab, then you're going to have trouble as you continue to try and grow. We've already talked about how you're going to have trouble with your marketing. You have trouble with your people. You're going to have trouble with your team. And eventually you're going to just have created another job for yourself where you happen to have the title of owner, right? So having that foundational aspect in place is your website and your Google business profile. But beyond the digital, it's just finding a way to have the right mindset to be the hustler, to be someone who's consistently working to better themselves, to grow their business. Because when you continually work on yourself, that in turn has that positive effect on your business and then the people around you, the people who eventually work for you. And then you start building your own little personal army of people who are going to go to bat for you and your business. So I can't stress that enough with the foundational items. The digital stuff, that's what we do, but the foundation building is where we really, that's where we really hone in with our clients. And a lot of it just happens to be vehicles of how we make that happen. So
right.
If your foundation's solid, not just built on a house of cards, you're going to be in a good position.
We'll put a link in the show notes so that you can get a hold of Brien at Ricochet. We'll also put a link in there for Millionaire University Podcast, so you guys have access to that. as well. And I kept saying over and over in my mind as you were giving me that, hey, what should I be asking you? I kept thinking, working on the business, not in the business, working on the business, not in the business. That's where Nice Guy Community, that's where you all want to be. We've been very fortunate. We've stumbled in through stupidity and ignorance. We've stumbled into that because Strickland and I, my partner, Brien, we are just too stupid enough not to know how to do everything. So we had to hire people to do all of that stuff. I love working on my business. I don't want to work in my business. You'll never see me working on an edit or working on social media posts, not because those things are beneath me. I suck at it. And I have much people on the team that are so much better at it than I am. And with one little small move, they can make much grander strides than I do, trying to struggle through it. And I find that when I am in an area where I'm in my zone of incompetence, I hate it and I don't make any money. And if I start to step into my zone of excellence or zone of genius, I work less and I make more. And that's where Brien and his team over at Ricochet want to get you. So I would encourage you to check the show notes and click on the link. You know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't be listening to the show. Get the fuck out of here. So, all right. I've been doing this for 10 years, 1,600 plus episodes, Nice Guy Community. You should know how to click on the show notes by now. You can send me, yes, a fax if you need more help, but I don't have a fax machine. So just good luck getting there. Brien, thank you for sharing. Thanks for being here. And thanks for sharing your expertise on the show today.
Doug, my pleasure. This has been a blast, man.
Hey, Nice Guy Community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Brien Gearin. All of his information, again, right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Seriously, it'll only hurt for a minute. And don't worry, I'll be fine.